So I'm delighted to be with Aaron Yahaya of Oparo. So, Aaron, massive thanks for joining myself this afternoon. So,
Welcome.
of course, you can be with me and Jack Jiggins, Andrew MacDonald, Susie Carter, John Williams on Tuesday, May the 11th. So, I can't believe the year is flying so quick. And of course, talking about flying, we're bringing in Bruce from Bond Finance, who's coming in from Australia with the joys of Zoom. Aaron, Oparo, Q1, what are some of the key nuggets? And then we can move into the nuggets of May the 11th.
Well, thanks for having me, Brendan. It's always a pleasure. So, just I'll just run through some of the updates. We've completed 5 transactions along with our partners, totaling about 33 units. We've still got 39 units in legals. We've done 2 refurbishments. We've done some partnerships around our prop tech data. And we've got a joint venture established to deliver about 40 million over the next 18 months. And for those people who've got suitable assets, we've still got over 120 million pounds ready to deploy. So that is just what we've been doing over the first quarter in Oparo.
And
I
Aaron,
thought I'd just quickly share that with you.
Aparo is looking at resi or commercial or both?
Both, both. And so, a blended mix according to the requirements of the
Uh,
partners that we work with.
Look, there's no secret. I'm definitely excited about the opportunities in the commercial sector. That's why there's a significant bias over the last 12 months since May or since March the 7th last year, which was the last live event. And delighted to welcome Andrew, Susie, and John Williams. So, is there anything you're particularly looking forward to, Andy, or Andrew, I should say, Andrew McDonald's retail, John office, and Susie looking at the other parts, the commercial sector, i.e., industrial and leisure?
So and what on the 11th? Sure, I'm always quite intrigued by the content we have. Obviously, you've forgotten Jack, the host from EXP, doing some really exciting things they're doing now across the commercial. Now, obviously, we have a situation where there is less of an appeal towards retail, but we are really looking at offices and sheds or industrial, different sizes being really exciting. So it's really really hotting up. I don't know if you saw Colliers today was saying that Q1 had the highest industrial spend on record or in recent years. So that is something to definitely look at. Now, obviously, retail in its current form is not really a place where people are looking for safe returns or long term or long term security. Having said that, those retail spaces being repurposed as a result of the new
Aaron, I'm going to
climate
stop you there
rules.
because that was quite significant.
Yeah,
Colliers said, just say it again about industrial.
looking at the investment into industrial in Q1 being the largest on record, I think they said that this morning.
Okay,
So,
that's interesting because that's not come on my wavelength yet. It has now. Um,
so
interesting.
it's definitely really really hotting up in terms of shed sizes. We're seeing a lot of competition for boxes, which we weren't seeing around this time last year. It has been a sector that has been fluid, that's been growing, but now we're looking at a lot of stuff we even changed about, I'd say about a year ago, chatted about in terms of large box, last mile, and different types of hubs. So the other thing that's also arising is if you saw the announcement recently, we saw John Lewis going into residential homes, and we've also seen the City of London today announce that they will be converting a lot of the office space in the middle of Westminster in the city back into residential. So we're seeing a repurposing and people taking these spaces and not only repurposing them back into residential, but also looking at flexible uses of them from stuff like gaming arenas to stuff like
Aaron,
play
you're
centers.
giving so much value
Yeah,
here, and you're not even the speaker for the 11th of May. I was going to say, Look, my knowledge of gaming is insignificant. Um, Gaming, just for the people who are not adverse to gaming, what do you mean exactly?
Right. Okay. So this is more talking about expanding on some of the stuff, which I'm sure John is going to speak about more about how you take these spaces, primarily retail and primarily some of these big department stores, and how do you take these city center spaces that are also, they might be less of the requirement of certain firms who are looking to, say, spread their workforce around the country. And one of the things is having gaming arenas. So esports is really, really massive. And there is more of a demand of some of these hybrid and inventive ways of using this space, which really wouldn't have been viable before.
It's
So
fascinating because I was introduced to a potential speaker on e-gaming last year because the event was so packed. I couldn't bring them in, but it's interesting. It's making wavelengths into not Oparo, but yourself.
yes, so it's ultimately it is the ability to adapt with the changing wings and the changing times. It's like, listen, there's always a way to win, there's always a way to make progress, there is always opportunity, and the quicker you can adapt and learn the new rules of the game, the quicker you can make things happen, and
Mm.
create a win-win situation for yourself, your partners, and every single stakeholder in whatever it is that you're doing. So I was just giving people a flavor of some of the wrap around the topics that the speakers will be discussing, to also give people a chance to start to prep whether they need questions, whether there's some areas of the stuff that I've touched on which they might find particularly interesting.
Aaron, any final thoughts?
Yes, it's the 11th of May. Get your tickets, make sure you register. I also have a request, if you are registering 11th of May, also have a couple of questions to really, really get the best out of the panelists who are there exclusively. Brendan does a really good job rounding up the guests. And to make it more of an interactive session, there are short, punchy presentations, but we'll also love to hear and see your questions so we can engage and you can actually take something practically from it.
Thank you. So Tuesday, 11th of May, 09:30, 9:30 a.m.